Is the JEON group's new strategy to gain publicity? Every question was a poison dart aimed at my wife's throat. I didn't blink. Instead, I memorized every face, every name on every press badge. I would dismantle their careers by dawn. I would make sure they would never hold a microphone again. For now, as long as they were focused on me, they weren't looking for her, I would take every drop of their filth if it kept her skin clean. And in a second, the ground groaned. A low guttural roar vibrated through the soles of my shoes. I turned. The building didn't just collapse further, it erupted. A second explosion. Get back, everybody, back. The firefighters screamed, his voice barely audible over the secondary groans of shifting steel. Establishing a 200-yard perimeter now. Panic ignited like tinder. Sir, we have to move. The entire sector is unstable. My lead guards shouted, trying to physically guide me toward the armor SUV. Mr. Jeon, it's for your safety. We need to leave. I didn't move. I couldn't move. My eyes were locked on the gaping building. Mr. Jeon, please. I shoved them off, my gaze scanning the frantic faces of the survivors huddled near the ambulances. I didn't see her. I didn't see the woman who was the only reason I bothered to keep this empire standing. Where is she? I demanded, my voice a low, terrifying vibration. Where is my wife? That's when one of the security members stumbled toward me. He wasn't running, he was falling, his face a mask of pure, unadulterated terror that my heart simply stopped beating. Mr. Jeon, he gasped, clutching his chest as he collapsed a few feet away. She went in. Mrs. June is inside. The world went silent. The siren, the screams, the roar of the fire, it all vanished into a vacuum of white noise. What did you say? I asked. It wasn't a question. It was a death sentence. She pushed past us, said she was accountable. We tried to grab her, but another beam fell and cut us off. He looked at the burning ruins, his voice breaking. She's in there, sir. The oxygen in my lungs turned to ash. My professional distance, the fucking contracts, the walls I had built to keep my heart safe, they didn't just crack, they shattered. You let her go in, I whispered, and then the roar tore out of my throat, raw and animalistic. You let her go in. I grabbed the security lead by his collar, lifting him off the ground. I didn't let him finish. I flung him aside and lunged for the skeletal remains of the entrance. Jungkook, no. The structural integrity is zero, Subjin's voice screamed. From somewhere behind me, hands grabbed my waist, my arms, my shoulder. If you walk in, you will die in there. Let go of me, I thrashed, throwing my weight back, elbows connecting with the ribs. I didn't care who I hurt. That's my wife we are talking about. Do you understand? She is the only thing in this god-forsaken world that matters. Get your hands off me before I kill you myself. I didn't calculate the risk and lunged forward towards the flames, my mind screaming a single desperate truth. If she wasn't coming out of the building, neither was I. Wine, I screamed, my lungs breathing in the toxic air. The building shrieked above me, steel twisting like tormented limbs. I didn't fear the ceiling falling. I feared the silence. I feared a world where I had to wake up and not hear her breath. Please, I choked out, stumbling over a jagged mound of concrete. Please, God, not her. Take the company, take everything I own. Just leave me her. And then, as if the heavens had mercy on me, I saw a flash of fabric, a blazer. My heart shattered. Wine. I lunged, digging with my bare hands, fingernails tearing as I clawed through the grit and hot river. I hauled a heavy slab of marble aside, my muscles screaming in protest, and there she was. So still. No, I gasped, falling to my knees and pulling her limp body into my arms. I tucked her head under my chin, shielding her from the falling sparks with my own body. No, no, no. Open your eyes. I didn't hesitate. I scooped her into my arms, shielding her face against my chest, and ran. The moment I hit the fresh air, the cameras flashed like a thousand lightning bolts. But I didn't see them. I collapsed to my knees in the middle of the debris, clutching her to my heart, holding her with a possessive grip, pressing my forehead against hers. Medic, I screamed, my voice cracking into a sob. Get over here now. I pressed my ear to her still chest. Nothing. No rise, no fall. A vast, terrifying void where her heartbeat should have been. Wyan, no, you don't get to do this. I screamed, the sound tearing my throat raw. I tilted her head back, my fingers digging into her jaw with a frantic, bruising grip. Breathe. Damn you, breathe. I began the compressions, my palm slamming against her sternum. I felt the sickening give of bone, but I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. If I stopped, the world ended. You think you can just leave, hmm? I choked out, another sob racking my frame. You think you can say those things, tell me I don't love you, and then just. No, you don't have that right. I won't let you. I breathed into her again, my tears falling into her mouth, salt mixing with the soot. I was a man who never prayed to a god before, was reduced to a beggar, begging to save her life. I'll burn every contract, I whispered against her lips, my voice a jagged wreck. I'll crawl in the dirt. I'll be the shadow you walk on. Just come back, please. Don't leave me with this silence. Anything but this silence. Suddenly her chest jolted. She was back. The strength left me instantly. I collapsed over her, my face buried in the crook of her neck, and I let out a sound that wasn't human. It was a long, howling sob of pure, unadulterated agony. I held her with a terrifying, crushing force, my body shielding her from the prying eyes of the world. Thank God, I whimpered into her skin. As the medics forcibly separated us to move her, the truth finally surfaced from the wreckage. Her earlier question, why I needed her so near, why I craved her presence, suddenly resonated with the force of the explosion. Because I love her. I love the woman who is my wife by every law of the soul, a claim written in the very marrow of my bones. I'm so insanely in love with JEON that I would deal with the gods and the demons just to have her as my wife in every single cycle of life. And seeing her there so hauntingly fragile against the hospital sheets, the truth shattered me. When are you going to wake up, love? What words are there left to say that will make you open your eyes? I whispered into her hair a plea. Myungju is already bored of playing with me, so please wake up. And me? I let out a bitter, jagged chuckle that caught in my throat. I can't live without you. I am a disaster when I am alone, miserable and half finished. I am not that perfect man who you think I am. I am a coward who hid behind. Jungkook. A steady voice broke the silence. Namjoon stood at the door, his face etched with a weary pity. It's enough. If you continue being so stubborn and refuse to eat properly, the next moment we know, you will be hospitalized. It's been a week now. Doctor said she's stable. Let's not talk of irrelevant things, Jungkook snapped, his voice instantly turning to ice as he straightened the posture. He wiped his face with a cold, brisk motion. How is the situation? Namjoon sighed. Crossing the room to hand over his tablet, he confessed everything. I suppose even a man like your father in law has a breaking point when he realizes he almost buried his own daughter. He's pleading guilty to every charge of corporate sabotage. It is exactly like Wyan's mother, I mean, Mrs. Danya described, Namjoon added solemnly. He wanted the JEON group to crumble, and he didn't care who was standing under the roof when it fell. So, what's next? How do you want to deal with this? It's already a mercy that I'm going to handle this with legal means, Jungkook growled, his eyes dark with untamed rage. Imprisonment is the lightest of the punishments. Do not think for a second that I will go easy on him because of a shared last name. He tried to take her from me. He deserves to rot. I'm not suggesting you to be soft, Namjoon corrected gently. I'm talking about the woman outside, Mrs. Dania, your mother in law. Tell her to leave. I don't care about her guilt. Jungkook, she has been here every day. She is persistent. Did you not hear me? It's okay. A weak, thinned out voice interrupted. Jungkook was at her side in a heartbeat, his hands hovering over her as if he were afraid the mere air might break her. Wine. Heavens, you're finally awake. She blinked, her vision slowly clearing as she took in his haggard appearance. You look terrible, she whispered, a faint teasing light in her eyes. Did I make you worry a lot? You guess? He choked out, his hands finally closing over her, squeezing with a desperation he couldn't hide. Don't ever do that again. That's an order. Namjoon cleared his throat, a small genuine smile on his face. I think I'll leave you two to some privacy. I'll inform the doctors as well. Namjoon, wait, Wine called out weakly as he turned to leave. I heard you guys talking, so please send my mother in. Wine, you aren't ready for that kind of stress, Jungkook protested. I need to hear her myself, she insisted. The air in the room spiked with tension. Namjoon glanced at Jungkook, whose jaw was clenched so tight the bone looked ready to snap. He looked at Wine, searching for a sign of hesitation, but only saw quiet, steely resolve. Jungkook gave a single curt nod. If this was what happened and she wanted, he would endure it. The door creaked open and Mrs. Dania stepped in. She looked aged, her elegance replaced by a hollow, haunted expression. Wyan, she whispered, her voice breaking. I heard, Wyan said, her voice devoid of the warmth it usually held. I heard he confessed. He did, her mother sobbed, a hand flying to her mouth. Seeing what happened to you, it broke the spell of greed he was under. He knows what he has done. He knows he almost killed the only thing he actually loved. Love doesn't plant bombs, mother, Wine countered, her eyes cold. I know. Mrs. Dania stepped forward tentatively. He is not doing well in custody, Wine. He is refusing to eat, refusing to speak the lawyers. He asked if you could visit him once, just once, so he can apologize before the sentencing. Jungkook's hand tightened on the bed rails, his knuckle white. No, Wan said. The word was final. He wants an apology. Two workers are dead, mother. I almost died. He didn't just attack a building. He attacked people's life. Tell him I won't come. Tell him that the daughter he knew died in that collapse. Wan, please. He's your father. He was a man who signed contract for my life. Wine snapped, her voice trembling with repressed fury. I'm acting like steel because I have to. Because if I let a single crack show, his poison will get back in. Tell him to serve his time. Tell him to think about the families of the men who didn't wake up. And mother, you should go too. Wine, take care of yourself. Mother, but I can't do this right now. I need to heal, and I can't heal with you reminding me of him. Mrs. Dania simply nodded, accepting the judgment. She walked to the side of the bed, reaching out to touch Wine's hand, but stopped just short. I understand. I'll tell him. She turned to Jungkook, her eyes pleading. Please, just make her happy. She has survived too much of our darkness. Give the light she deserves. Jungkook met her gaze, his expression unyielding. I don't need your permission to do that. She is my wife and I'll do everything for her, without anyone telling me to. As the door clicked shut behind her mother, the mask Wine had been wearing shattered. She let out a broken breath. and slumped back into the pillows, her eyes filling with tears. As she calmed down, the atmosphere in the room shifted. The adrenaline of confrontation faded, leaving behind an electric, raw honesty. Jungkook pulled back, looking at her as if she were the only thing in the universe. He realized it was time. No longer he wanted to waste a single second hiding how he felt about her. When he began, his voice dropping to a low melodic rumble. I need to tell you my answer to the question you asked me in our bedroom. He slid off the bed, dropping to his knees on the cold linoleum floor. Jungkook, what are you doing? Get up, this isn't the place. I don't care, he interrupted, taking her hand. I've spent my whole life building walls thinking that if I was cold enough, no one could hurt me. I treated our marriage like a transaction because I was terrified that if I admitted you were my world, I would lose my mind. He kissed her knuckles, his lips lingering. But when that building went down, when I thought I was breathing in your ashes, I realized that I'm already a dead man without you. I don't want a Mrs. JEON for the cameras, I want wine. I want the woman who challenges me, who hates my arrogance, and who makes me want to be better. He looked up, his eyes shining with raw, unshielded emotion. I love you, insanely, irrepressibly. I can't live without you, and I don't ever want to try again. Will you stay? Not because of a contract, but because of a fact you love a disaster of a man like me. One stared at him, her heart thundering. The cold, untouchable king was gone. Here was the man she had glimpsed in the dark, the one she had fallen for in spite of herself. I thought you would never say it, she whispered, a tear slipping down her cheek. I love you too, Jungkook. He looked at Wine, searching for permission, and found her eyes brimming with a soft, radiant pride. Forever, she repeated, tasting the word like a sweet candy. The wreckage of the past week was still there, but they were whole now, a family of three. Minju looked between them, a slow, toothy grin, finally breaking through her uncertainty. She let out a tiny bubbling giggle that sounded like music in the sterile room. They both leaned in at once, kissing Minju's chubby cheeks. Now the contract was long dead.